Welcome to OreoOlive.com. As you know, Oreo Olives don't mix, but the abstract thought of putting those two words together has enlightened me to create a channel to discuss various topics. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing you on some things to do if you want to learn how to travel. Now, if you looked at one of the short videos that I did, I was basically explaining how I'm going to go over some tips and tricks to help you get on your travel game, get your travel game up so that you can know what to do, how to do it, and where to do it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right to it. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and refill ourselves up with some coffee here. So go ahead and grab your choice of beverage because this is going to be a little bit of a video that you're going to need to follow through on. As you're waiting and pouring that cup of coffee, just want to remind you to definitely check out our website, OreoOlive.com. As you will see, there is some different articles on there that I've written up over the course of time. You can definitely subscribe to the newsletter there and everything. Check out the podcast information that is there and other featured content that will be coming soon. So aside from the site, of course, the YouTube page, which you're watching this video on now, we're going to go ahead and get right into our video. So what I want to show you all today is basically I'm going to show you on how to set yourself up to plan a trip that you want to do, whether that's traveling domestically within the US or if you want to travel internationally. As this is a beginner stage, I want to start out of traveling from state to state first, and then we'll do a short portion on how to book trips internationally. So before we do anything, before you start traveling and all of that, what I want you to do is go up to your browser page, whether that's Safari, Google Chrome, and Internet Explorer or Internet Edge. You're going to go to google.com. Once you get into google.com, you're going to go ahead and type in passport. And what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you go to the travelstate.gov website, okay? You're going to go to the official website, and you're going to go in here, and it's going to tell you how to apply. Once you get into the site of how to apply, it's going to be an overload of information on the site, but what I want you to do is basically take a step at a time. So what we're going to do is you can either fill out or download the form. So we're going to go ahead and click out fill out and download form. This is going to show you a list of things that you need to do as far as a reminder for the application. I'm going to pause for a second so that way you can go ahead and take a little bit of this in here. All right, so what you want to make sure that you do is if you print this out, of course, you're going to have to send that off with your application fee back to the passport site so that way they can process it. That will take a little bit of time, or you can fill out the application online yourself. There's a couple different ways that you can do it, but it should be fine. So it says you should complete this form if you're applying for the first time, you're applying for your child who is under 16, or you don't meet any of the requirements to renew your passport. So I'm going to go ahead and click that link right there. And it also says that you must, of course, apply in person using the form DS11 if you at least one of the following is true. You're applying for the first time and such and such. So what you're going to do is you're going to actually take this form here, and you can actually use the form filler if you want, or the PDF, depending on which one that you want. I'm just going to go ahead and use that form that the first selection there. You basically want to read over their privacy and computer fraud and abuse acts and notices and disclaimers. But when you do so, check the box and do submit. Now keep in mind this video is for entertainment and education purposes. Oreo Olive is not responsible for anything that happens with your passport or stuff like that, but it's just more of an informational to kind of help you get through the process. So once you fill out this form online, what you will need is, of course, your most recent passport book, if you have one, a printer, and Adobe Reader. You can definitely download Adobe Reader by clicking the link right there in order to fill this out here. So we're going to go ahead and fill online and print. So we're going to go ahead and click submit. And there's going to be a lot of different things here. Now, this form is going to help you. The form fill is going to help you fill in the necessary information that you need to fill this out. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some dummy information here. So let's go ahead and jump right to this. So I'm just basically filling out some dummy information here. And make sure the items that are in red that you actually are filling those out, because that is definitely necessary. You cannot skip those particular things there. Social security number, of course, this is just fake information, people, just dummy information. So the numbers and information that you are seeing in here is just dummy information. It is not real by any means, but the application is actually real. I'm just going through it with you so that you can know how to do it. And I know I select the hair color, even though I'm bald, so it doesn't matter. But make sure you are as real as possible, um, that you that you have this on here. And you don't have to fill out any school information unless you are a student. If you are a student, make sure that you hit the question mark there and fill out that information. So we're going to go ahead and click next. All right, so we're going to go ahead and type in the address. I'm going to go ahead and get the zip code for New Orleans. I'm going to grab a random one. And for the preferred method of communication, you definitely want to select both so that way you can get it in the mail. And you're going to fill out an email address. And that will be your real email address. So you can just definitely put, like if I want to put for Joe James Doe that I can put jdoe at mail.com. And it may be at gmail.com or at hotmail.com, whatever that your email address is. Make sure that you fill out that information there. Then you're going to also have a phone number as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put a phone number, cell number for the Memphis, Tennessee area. And it's going to be a cell number. All right. And the date of your trip. So this right here is basically either a known or anticipated date of your trip. It doesn't have to be exact, even if it's a year out. But we're going to go ahead and just plan a trip for May the 1st. And the date of our return, if you're going to take a vacation out of the country, I would say at least go about 1 to 2 weeks. So we're going to go ahead and put 05/14/2023. And the countries that you're going to be visiting, let's say our first country that we're going to be visiting is going to be something really simple, short, simple, and sweet. We're going to say, let's go with Thailand. Now, if you're going to be traveling within 2 weeks, you do not mail that passport application. It's going to tell you exactly what you need to do and the number that you need to call when you do that. And who's they contact in case of emergency? Well, of course, if you have a significant other, you just put their information, or you have a relative that you trust, put their information there. And they're going to live in the Memphis, Tennessee area, since we want to make it seem like they're really like a relative. And their telephone number. And the relationship, we're going to put parent. Now, this is right here. It's going to be a very interesting thing. I haven't yet done a passport card, but I've done the passport book. I'm going to select both because I think it'd be really cool to have both of them there. But what it says is, do you still have the book in your possession? And you can basically say it. We can go ahead and say yes there, and see date of the most recent passport. Or sorry, have you been issued any of the following? You're gonna say none. Go ahead and click next. Now, please fill in as much information as you know. If completing for a third party, parent in mind to complete the form in the context of the applicant, not yourself. So on these two, this is if you want to put, so that way that they know who your parents are, you can fill in that information there. So we're going to go ahead and fill ours and we're going to say Justice Doe, and we're going to say 01, 05, and we're going to say 1965. Place of birth, we're going to say Memphis. Gender, female, U.S. citizen, yes. And then for the father of the applicant, we're going to say George Doe. We want to say our parents were born about the same time, okay? But make sure you put factual information in there. This is just for education, entertainment purposes only in that regard. And it's going to say our father was born in Memphis as well, and is a U.S. citizen. And has the applicant ever been married, which is talking about you, the person that's filling out this passport, who's going to be getting this passport. They're asking you, has the applicant ever been married? You can say no if you have not. If you have, click yes. Now, list other names that you have used. So these are going to be pseudo names. So please, people, under all circumstances, make sure that you put your government names on these passport forms. Do not put Pookie, Ray, anything like that. Just make sure that, like, if your name was Sean, but people call you Carter, you can put something like that there. But make sure that you're using legitimate factual names in this. If you don't have any, go ahead and click next because it's not required. This is basically going to be the application review. So we have that information there. And we're going to go ahead and click next. All right. So the passport book, which is going to be the actual book that you're going to give to the TSA agency, flip open, that's $130. The passport card is the $30. Now keep in mind, the passport card cannot be used as your identification for international air travel. So the travel document that can be used is going to be used to enter the U.S. from Canada, Mexico, the Caribbean, Bermuda, and places like that at the land border crossings or at seaports of entry. So if you want to do both just to have, so that way you don't take your full passport book. If you go to Bermuda or Aruba or something like that, you can use the card. But I would say go ahead and get both. Go ahead and spend the $160. People, get both. Don't be cheap. You spend $160 on shoes, watches, smartwatches, and clothes. Go ahead and do it. Remember, let's go ahead and do it big since you're going to be making your first trip. Now, the processing methods. Routine service is free. It's going to take a couple of weeks. Expedite $60. Expedite at the service agency. If you drive there, it's going to be a fee. Just go ahead and put out routine since our trip is not going to be until May. Now, the delivery method, you can go ahead and select leave the free options there. So it's going to cost you about $195. $195. People spend that on Jordans, right? So let's go ahead and book that. And we're going to go ahead and click next. All right. And then after reading and acknowledging the information, you'll be ready to print your passport form. So what this is going to do is going to print the form. So the PDF form filler allows you to enter the information. It structures it for you and puts it into the PDF so that you can print the PDF and mail the PDF off. So it's going to ask you, how do you want to submit your forms? So if you're inside the United States, you must appear in person at an acceptance facility or a passport agency with your DS-11. So we can basically locate one that's close to us. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm just going to actually right click on here and do this as open a new tab. And the reason why I'm doing that, so I don't come off this page, but what that's going to do is it's going to be a, let's see here. So we're going to go ahead and we click that. Okay. So you can go ahead and click it. Sometimes I like to open it in a different tab. You can go ahead and click the button. It's going to pop up in a different tab. And basically, since we're in the Memphis area, even though I said Louisiana, I'm just going to put the Memphis area. We're going to put a 38118 zip code, and we're going to look at the closest 10 facilities, and we're going to click search. So there's a couple of different options here. A lot of times what happens, people, is the passport agencies where you can turn these into are normally the postal offices, and you can even get the applications from the postal office themselves. Now, for us here, I can select any one of these that I want. To be honest with you, in the Memphis, Tennessee area, I'm going to just choose the first one in the list, and this just tell you the miles. And so we're going to go ahead and use the Memphis Mending Hall station, and it tells you everything that you need to know on when to actually go to the postal office. Got a phone number there if you need to call before you schedule or go there. That's fine. So now that we got that information, the other thing that you need to do is you have to have one recent passport photo, proof of U.S. citizenship, correct passport fees, and proof of identity. So if you go ahead and click there, it's going to tell you exactly where you need to get the information in terms of getting your picture printed. Now, make sure you read all these rules here. A lot of times Walgreens will actually print the pictures for you, so you can follow the instructions on here to do that. Aside from that, you can also look at your proof of citizenship and things like that. So you're going to need that information. It's going to tell you all of that here. And then last but not least, of course, you want to make sure you have your passport fees. It's going to tell you exactly what you need to do and what method of payment that you need to have for your passport fees. And then your proof of identity. Your proof of identity is basically going to tell you what you need in order to have as your primary and your secondary ID. Primary IDs are things like your driver's license. It could be, if you have certificates of citizenship, government employee IDs, you've worked for the city, county, state, or federal government, and permanent resident cards, all that. Secondary IDs is going to be anything that's going to be like a social security card, maybe a student ID, employee work ID, Medicare and healthcare card. Healthcare cards are pretty common across different verification methods, so you can definitely use that. Once you have all that information, keep in mind, do not under any circumstances sign your DS-11 form. Don't do that at all. It's going to tell you the printing instructions, and once you have all that information, you're going to go ahead and you're going to click print form. Print form is going to pop up a PDF. When you open the PDF, it's going to have the information in there that we needed. And this is everything that we just went in and actually constructed ourselves in the form. Now, once you have all that in the form and you got your picture, it's going to you're going to also have your attach that color picture that you had within the last 6 months. So if you're going to do this passport thing, do it right then and there. Okay. This is what you are going to print out. Follow the instructions on the entire passport. Please read all of the instructions on there. And this is what you're going to be taking to the postal office. Once you get done, you're going to go ahead and click start new application. It's going to delete everything from your passport and take you right back to the login screen. So that right there alone, people, is what you need in order to get your passport set up, get your stuff printed out. So go ahead and tune in to part 2 of the video as we're going to go ahead and start booking our trips. Like, listen, subscribe, OreoOlive.com. Look forward to bringing more content to you all soon.